often.
Not very often. Alright. As we get into this game, let's go ahead and introduce the players. We have spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner of Newkirk City. One of the hardest swarm ladder maps, it is ColdFlame, spawning as the yellow Protoss.
And in the lower left-hand corner of our map, in the green trunks, he is Quackers.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to do something clever.
I'd imagine because you were laughing.
I'm exhausted.
It's okay. We have all been there.
I was like, oh, it's like you, like the mouse is spinning the wheel up there, but the wheel is the bearing for the wheel is broken, so it's not actually doing anything, and it's complicated.
It's just confusing.
It's very complicated up there, and it's probably going to get even more confusing seeing that ZVP in Heart of the Swarm is likely not mapped out whatsoever.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
ColdFlame is going for a pylon on the high ground. This makes me very, very curious.
I think that we're going to see a lot more gateway expands because of how strong the mothership core is for both offensive purposes and defensive purposes. I mean, why bother Forge Fast expanding anymore when you can just get a mothership core?
Yeah,
you're in a wall, yeah, you're going to SimCity a little bit, but you can still hold position that Zealot. You'll just have a mothership core shooting at random things against a cannon.
This is so true, and I mean, the mothership core, of course, doesn't attack air units, so in the early game, I really feel like it's going to be up to the Zerg player to either go for a very macro-oriented build, try to spread across the map very quickly, or just play defensive and tech up into something that's going to deal with the eventual air composition that I'm assuming is going to be very effective against the Zerg.
Yep. Yeah, we've even seen just mass air be the mainstay for the composition throughout the entirety of the match. I mean, it's not like, hey, you know what, I'm going to go this early and then I'm going to transition into X, or I'm just going to go gateway units early and transition into air. No, it's just all air all the time.
I really feel like that was the part of this, why this was brought on, was the muta buff. I think that's actually why the muta buff was brought on. Sorry, the way I phrased that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But anion crystals and whatnot is a good upgrade for the Phoenix. And did the Phoenix get any changes in Heart of the Swarm?
All right, so keep in mind, guys, the Phoenix now have the innate range that was, I believe it's 7 range. That was actually the upgrade for anion pulse crystals, and then anion pulse crystals is still in the game. It gives them 9 range. I believe I'm right on the numbers there. If I'm not, somebody correct me in chat, please.
That's nuts, man.
But yeah, it's kind of nuts. But I think it was needed to try and deal with the mutalisks now that they do have that in just regeneration from the get-go.
Yeah. All right. So this is making me even more excited to see what our 2 players are going to do. I know ColdFlame is a good player. We did cast him in our team league.
Oh,
so
yeah, playing for XO. Unfortunately, I do believe that they disbanded though.
No.
Sad.
Yeah. Well, anyone looking for a good Protoss player? I know ColdFlame's pretty good at this game, so I'm excited to see what he's got. Gonna go for that early Forge at the front there. I wonder if that's for cannons or more just to try to get his +1 up very quickly.
I would imagine +1 weapons timings are still really strong with a couple Zealots.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
that would make sense, yeah.
With the gateway coming on here too, will he add another gate? He will add on another gateway, so curious to see if this is going to be some type of 2-base pressure that ColdFlame's going to be aiming for. The Zerg is moving out with a bunch of links, and link speed is about to finish up too.
How many links does he have in the field right now? He does have 6. So this is going to be good scouting information for him. He will get past the mothership core, going right into his opponent's wall there.
Sees the +1 though.
Yeah.
Gotta know that there's the potential for some kind of attack to be coming. And I think it's the balls in ColdFlame's court here to decide where he wants to take the game.
Yeah, I think this is the most difficult part of trying to incorporate all of your knowledge into a new game, is just all of the timings that your opponent can hit. The metagame is still kind of dictated by Protoss putting on some aggression, and the Zerg trying to defend it in this matchup. And with all these different options opened up to the Protoss players as what they can do, it becomes a lot more difficult for the Zerg to try and get a handle on things and then react properly on top of everything.
And neither player is actually doing a whole lot. Okay, the lair just now being morphed here for Quackers. And aside from that +1, ColdFlame really isn't making any moves in any direction. No Twilight Council go down to continue that +2. He isn't even chrono boosting that +1 upgrade.
No. He's just chrono boosting his next eye, which makes me think he's going to want to go for a pretty fast
third. Couple of Zealots moving out with a proxy pylon?
Yeah.
So just must put on some 3-gate pressure with +1. Now chrono boosting that +1. But no additional buildings just quite yet.
Here comes a couple spines. But consider this, I mean, this is the natural of the Zerg that he's now trying to defend, not the third. I mean, this is so far away from the meta that we see in Wings of Liberty.
You got a queen too, Panda.
Yeah, for free too. I mean, that was... He almost got a creep tumor out of it too if those Zealots had been a little bit faster sniping that.
He's expecting there to be a third base, but there is none.
Now it's really the Protoss' decision to try and peace out or pressure this. The spines aren't quite done yet as he pushes up. +1 has been completed.
Drone's preemptively pulled there. He's got the spine crawl. He's got the spore. He's got the spire going up. It's gonna be Dudas, but the Stargate's on the way too. So that's being scouted out by the Overlord. Yes, will be scouted out by the Overlord. So Quackers has got to be pretty happy with seeing that Stargate, knowing okay, I'm gonna have the mutas out way before, or at least at the same time that you're gonna have that Stargate out.
At the same time, though, like this is always a question that runs through my head. All right, I scouted a Stargate. I have a Spire down. Well, do I cancel the Spire at this point? What do I do? It's very map dependent, but also like considering the upgraded range of the Phoenix, even from the get-go, I don't know.
I think you gotta say, I've seen a very zealot heavy force here. I think the mutas will have an opportunity to do something.
That's a pretty nice force field that goes down there. Still a lot of spine crawlers to try and deny this attack.
One will be focused, the second will be focused down.
Yeah, he does have 14 additional lings spawning. Hope 4 more zealots come up. I don't think it's gonna be enough though. Quackers is looking to hold this pretty well. He needs to back off with lings though. No reason in engaging outside of the spine.
+1 making a huge difference in this engagement, and all the lings are going to fall. Has to reinforce with more and more lings right now. You can get those queens to be worth it, but does look like he needs to back up.
Oh, nice.
With the Stalkers.
But here comes...
Oh, the Stalker's going down, and this should be cleaned up. But the Stalkers stay alive!
Yeah, the Zealots are just too tanky for the Link to deal with. You really need to back off there as soon as you get outside of the range of your queens, outside of the range of your spine crawlers.
Yeah, and this is going to be a problem here because the +1 armor is about to finish up for the Protoss player. There's the Spire done, but there's no mutas out on the field. He just doesn't have the larva. He had to make so many links from that defense.
And his opponent's going for Void Rays too, which is an interesting decision.
Julia.
Oh, wait, he's even upgrading attack for his air, so it looks like we're seeing like Zealots being warped in to compensate for the gas spent otherwise. This Mothership Core really hasn't come into play either. Keep in mind it does have a basic attack. It cannot attack air though, so the Mutalisk will absolutely destroy it if it's caught unaided by those stalkers over there.
Whoa.
It's Envision. It's an ability of the Mothership Core to be able to detect.
It's got like a spinning eyeball.
I think it's 20 seconds or 30 seconds. Wow.
Interesting.
Whoa, and the cooldown is under 30 seconds. That's... Oh no, it's exactly 30 seconds. Alright. Huh. So you can just spam that baby.
Quackers is scout out third base going out for the Protoss player here, and it feels like Quackers is kind of stuck.
Yeah,
nowhere to go.
It's so difficult to be contained.
Will the Mothership Core though.
Yeah, and that's a good pickoff. I mean, he can rest easy, knowing that he killed that for absolutely nothing. I mean, he didn't lose a muta, he didn't lose a ling there.
No, it's really coming down to the upgrades in this matchup. That early +1 from ColdFlame proved to be a lot, and now the +1 Flyers isn't quite done yet for Quackers, but he's going to move in regardless and clean up all the anti-air.
Yeah, that was nice, and the Zealots are trying to make something of this engagement, but they're going to die too without doing all too much damage. The Queen does die, which is unfortunate, especially considering the fact that he does need to replenish all of these creep tumors and take a third base out of this. But look at how many pylons are around.
There's 6 Phoenix on the map here for ColdFlame, 2 more in production at once now too. Doesn't have a doesn't have the fleet beacon just quite yet. but still continue this Phoenix production. He will be able to get across the map very, very quickly here. Man, look how fast these flying units are now. Mutas are getting across so fast. No third base for them to spot, but Phoenix are just destroying.
Yeah, there was a cancel on that third base the second the push got denied. And these Lings are destroying all of the proxy pylons. Third base going up, but again, the Zerg player definitely behind in this situation. The one thing he has going for him are these mutas. He needs to be really careful about his engagements, though, as these Phoenix come into the play.
He's got superior count. 20 mutas to 9 Phoenix. I don't think he should be running.
Huh. I wonder if
they... to fight.
I wonder if they reverted that change. Because the Phoenix have only 5 range right now. Interesting.
I know.
Alright. Units Lost tab shows an interesting story. We actually have the Protoss losing quite a fair amount of resources more than the Zerg. The Zerg's economy, though, like really hasn't been up to snuff quite yet. Now he can finally... I mean, look, the situation's reversed. It's come full circle. Zerg's containing the Protoss.
Things are definitely swinging back into Quackers' favor here, but he's got to be careful. He doesn't want to completely overextend because he doesn't have that economy backbone to follow us up with. If he loses a bunch of units, he won't really have the resources to remake, and he's not in a max position to really be losing units right now. Oh, and Phoenix are having their way. A couple mutas at a time going down. But definitely has to be careful with them. No shields left on those Phoenix at all. If the mutas were to go in there, they would completely destroy them.
I'd love him to warp in a couple zealots here in a forward position against this third.
You know what I would like to see?
Oh, look at that! Look at that.
Oh, yeah, he's gonna do it. I would love to see an Oracle, though. If you made an Oracle and put that slow down on the mutas, I feel like the Phoenix could completely rip all of them apart, no matter what.
It's a very hairy battle, though. I mean, you're investing a lot of cost into that to try and bank getting that time warp exactly on the mutas where you need it.
Oh, more drones are dying.
Yeah, these zealots doing quite a fair amount of damage.
Huge. That was huge. Quackers had just got his drone count to where he wanted to be for 3 bases, and every single drone except for one that gets transferred dies. And the third base is going to be targeted down, making it a point of contention in the future here. More zealots were warped in, though, a little bit wastefully. This is 500 minerals that's never going to come back.
Yeah. And the Phoenix are moving across the map right now, but they really don't have the numbers to take on this Corruptor Mutaball. The Corruptor's there to tank and just deal consistent damage.
With the Dark Shrine, do you think he'll be actually making DTs next to follow up with the third, or will he be using them for Archons at home? I feel like if he warps in DTs, he could take that hatch down easy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult call to make. If he wants to commit to something off of 2 bases, yeah, we're going to see Archons and him just go for broke. Yep. But here come 3 Dark Templars, and they're going for the third, right like you said.
Will he have anything at home to defend here? Trying to take the third in front of his base, ColdFlame doesn't have much of an economy himself.
Oh, the spines come down, but it's not fast enough, as this third base will be destroyed. Forcing all the units back yet again. We do have an Overseer in production. Where is that?
And that was a big move from ColdFlame in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, he needed that. He needed that so much. I mean, he's effectively denied his opponent mining from a third base this entire game. It's 19 minutes into this game at this point.
And I feel like with Archons, he's going to be able to deal with this army. An Archon or 3 would certainly make a huge difference in these battles up against the Lings with the Zealots in the front. And if they are able to get a shot off on the mutas, then the Corruptors are just going to sit there twiddling their thumbs for the rest of the time.
We do see Void Rays once again being incorporated into this composition here.
It's a weird choice.
2 in production at this time. I don't know. We'll see how they fare. Personally, I like to see a couple more Stalkers, some more Archons, like beefy units to try and take out those Corruptors, because look at the Corruptor count right now. It's pretty freaking high. And
every Phoenix
Quackers just wants to take this, and I think he's going to be pretty successful. The Zealots are just destroying the ground forces, though. The Stalkers are really what count here, though. They're the only anti-air remaining, and yeah, he does have enough.
Nice hold from ColdFlame.
It's a point where I would love to see the Zerg double expand, but he just doesn't have the economy to be able to do that. Like, he can't even invest in another 300 into a hatch. It's really sad.
Forced a long distance mine. It is a recession.
It's a really scrappy game.
We've been seeing a lot of low econ games, a lot of very high army counts, a lot of engagements, very like odd engagements. Kind of feels like everyone's still just testing the waters.
This Archon is being morphed right now. He has a couple more DTs that he can opt to morph in there too. Wow, the Muta's actually going to work on a couple of these probes long distance mining. Put his total of worker kills here up to 8.
Alright. Hydras.
Hydras. And Hydra speed.
I like that pick.
Hydras too.
No Colossus anywhere in sight.
Yep.
He's got the air advantage, so if Colossus even were to come out on the map, they would get completely squashed. The Lings are continually pressuring the Protoss player as well.
Oh, we have Mutas engaging this probe line again. There are 2 cannons here, but...
And it's very weird to see that those Corruptors
right?
kind of like soaking up damage, just
24
floating around.
That netted him 16 more worker kills that last little bit. And he didn't lose all too many Mutas for it either.
Well, this is
oh, keep in mind this is
feeling like Shakura's plateau, man.
Yeah. I mean, he has +2 for the melee upgrades, but as far as range goes, he's 0-0 on this Hydras. No carrier pace upgrades. The range is just finishing now, and he doesn't have Hydralist range either. So, interesting wall here. He does have 3 cannons, so he should be able to defend any incoming attack. I mean, this is very nice positioning of Pocket Expo for the Protoss to take here. You can defend pretty much everything very easily.
Yeah, I like this decision to back up from the Zerg player. His range, as you mentioned, wasn't done. His +1 is just finished up now. He's instead going to tech into Hive, take a 4th base in the upper left-hand corner of the map.
Yeah.
Protoss player's opting to take a 4th himself down below. So interesting to see where each player's moving into the naturals. Protoss is favoring the clumped-up positions while Zerg is spreading out. This is, I guess, very common of the races to see.
Keep in mind that the drone count is still ridiculously low. For those Zerg here. He really needs to take a couple of these workers. He's kind of oversaturated with natural.
How do you feel about this move out from the Protoss right now? He's on top of creep. He doesn't have an observer anywhere. This feels like...
It's an interesting timing. He's going for blink here. His plus armor is just finishing though, so he should wait a little bit. He does have a fair amount of Archons though, and his opponent really doesn't have... oh, pretty nice spread on the Mutas. So. But I mean, look at his opponent's unit composition. Hydras and Mutas.
Yeah.
And Lings. Archons just wreck that. If he waits for a couple more, he can make for ridiculously strong timing that I don't think the Zerg can really handle. He's in that like pre-Broodlord phase, pre-Ultra phase, where he doesn't have the units that are really necessary to, like the Infestors to hold the Archons in, those Broodlords to try and get the Broodlings to keep your opponent at bay. They're just going to come up and destroy everything.
This could be the timing that he needs. His 4th base was just taken down by the Mutas. He was able to cancel it, but this may have triggered ColdFlame into attack mode.
Yeah.
He is pressuring against the Zerg on top of all the creep tumors, but he does not care. Archons are leading the charge.
Zerg needs to be ridiculously careful about how he engages this. The Corruptor's going on there, corrupting the Archons. And pretty nice engagement so far, but the Hydras and the Mutas are getting absolutely wrecked. 3 Archons still remain.
Oh, the Guardian Shield completely neutralized those Mutalisks.
Yeah.
And that +2.
And there's the game.